Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. We are driving over to the school. We've been talking a lot about WrestleMania 42. And as of right now, WWE has put out the press release basically saying that New Orleans will no longer be hosting WrestleMania 42. And we are awaiting their full-fledged press release saying where WrestleMania will be. As of right now, if you are surfing anywhere online, it seems to be that Las Vegas will be the host of WrestleMania 42, but they've already came out with some negative news against Las Vegas holding WrestleMania 42. That being that Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play, is already booked. And the Las Vegas Convention Center that hosted the WWE Superstore as well as the WWE World is partially booked. And that's a problem. I guess that WrestleMania could go back to just being one day, even if it is just for 1 year. I'm not sure what day it is booked on, if it's Saturday or Sunday. But then again, you got to think that WWE normally goes into these stadiums like a week before the actual event to set up the actual set up the lighting, set up extra, speakers that they need for the entertainment or anything like that. So I don't know. It might not be Las Vegas. They haven't said what person is having a concert. It doesn't say if they're going to be able to give them the boot. You got to think to be able to have a concert at Allegiant Stadium, it's got to be Taylor Swift, Kenny Chesney, somebody. You're just beyond the point of huge. Maybe it's Beyonce for all I know. But as of right now, the concert hasn't been announced, which could be good. And they aren't really saying. When it comes to the convention center is one of the biggest convention centers in the United States. I will tell you that. And then I will tell you that for somebody who attended WWE World as well as the WrestleMania Superstore, let me tell you this. The Superstore could have been bigger. Because in my mind, I don't think that they had merch for enough people, not the actual fans. There was a lot of merch there for people to buy. It just wasn't the merch that I was used to seeing when it comes. I guess maybe they didn't want to take a gamble on it. It seemed like if you were a fan of John Cena, Jey Uso, the actual WrestleMania itself, you were good. But if you wanted a Braun Breaker shirt, if you wanted maybe even a Rhea Ripley shirt, a Tiffany Stratton shirt, Charlotte Flair shirt, you were screwed. They did not bring any normal merch. I bet that there's fans who didn't pack normal wrestling shirts. I've always said that it's better to go on to the WWE Superstore, plan out what you want to wear if you want to, buy it early like I did. On the Black Friday, or just hit one of their normal sales that they do. Take the stuff right out of the box, put it right into your luggage, and you're good to go with new fits before WrestleMania. But I don't know. I'll tell you that WWE World seemed like it was bigger than it needed to be. They didn't really fill out the spaces that they had. WWE World seemed to be who wanted to pay for pictures, who wanted to pay for autographs, and who wanted to sponsor a booth. There wasn't really enough, like, just walk into a room and see some stuff. The Hall of Fame sort of memorial stuff of, like, the past wrestlers' gears just pretty much seemed to be just, like, one outfit from almost every single person. And then that creepy Triple H statue. John Cena had a booth set up, celebrating him in his final WrestleMania, and they had one title from, like, no, how do I say this? They had like maybe 5 titles. I was going to say like one of each title, but that doesn't really make sense. The spinner belt was there. A United States Championship was there. They just had a few things along the way. But I mean, I walked through WWE World in 50 minutes, and I know that when I went to Access back in the day, I used to get in like the picture and autograph lines, and that's probably where a lot of my time got eaten up. But to walk through the Topps booth, to walk through the Mattel booth, the John Cena thing, I was in and out. I can honestly tell you that they're gonna want a big thing, but if their spot gets cut down, I don't know. I think they could have used more, honestly, in my opinion, especially for the Superstore. That place was beyond crazy, and it was lines to buy Topps cards, lines to buy title belts, lines to buy memorabilia. Then there was the lines just to buy the t-shirt, the lines to get in, lines. So I don't know. I mean, if you go on Twitter, it looks like you can pretty much buy WrestleMania tickets now for Las Vegas. Everybody is saying Vegas, Vegas, Vegas. If they don't have the stadium where they can set up for Mania, and especially have one of the nights that they want to do for WrestleMania, I don't see that working. Maybe WWE could give some money or something like that, and the person who has a contract for the stadium, they go somewhere else for the night and come back to Vegas on another night. I mean, the tour hasn't even been announced. But then again, if you have to give them $1 million and they're like paying like $6 million, now you're only getting $5 million. You should have just stayed in freaking New Orleans. I don't really know how this stuff works. I don't book concerts. I don't book WrestleManias, but it just doesn't seem weird. And I mean, like, what are they gonna do about who booked the convention center? Are they gonna buy their way into there? And then they're just eating into these profits. They just stayed in New Orleans, and they could have just done Las Vegas then next year. They haven't announced where WrestleMania 43 is going to be. I know that Vegas is hurting, and they're probably got their back up against the wall, and they're like, hey, if we throw this money at them, we'll get this money back. But I don't know. Just looks like a decision that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It probably wasn't a Triple H decision. It probably wasn't a Rock decision. Talked about that in my other video the other day. Probably was just like a Nick Khan or somebody that works under Nick Khan that is in charge of these things. But WWE, I don't know. For as good as they're doing right now, they're doing a lot of stuff that just kind of really doesn't make any sense. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here Friday morning, fresh out of the bed. Didn't have to take my kids to school this morning. Wearing the fresh Good Brothers tee. Probably the highlight of my day today will be going to Costco around noon or so. But man, this WrestleMania story has progressed a lot overnight. The Wrestling Observer posted a story about it, basically saying that New Orleans, they did sign a deal. It was announced that WrestleMania would be heading to New Orleans. Of course, everybody remembers the SmackDown where The Rock showed up, and he said that he was going to be there. I think that was the same episode where he ended up coming out and saying that he was going to be trying to get Cody's soul at the Elimination Chamber, which everybody thought was going to set up, Rock versus Cody at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. But now it seems that Las Vegas loved having WWE for the WrestleMania week, that now just Las Vegas called up WWE and said, hey, we'll give you more money if you bring Las Vegas back for WrestleMania. We want one more run, but we don't want to wait. We want it now. There are a lot of stories. If you go on YouTube, if you go on Twitter, a hot story that grabs a lot of attention is Las Vegas is dead. I'll tell you this much. I was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41 weekend. I flew in on Wednesday. I flew out on Tuesday. I will tell you the airport was buzzing both times that I was there. I was at the north end of the strip. I was at the south end of the strip. In my mind, I don't think I was in like the middle parts that much, but it seems like just about everywhere I went, the place was packed out. I think that where WrestleCon was at the Westgate Hotel, that seemed like a very popular hotel. People were staying there because of the WrestleCon convention. They set up shop there for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of those days, I was there pretty much open to close, and the place was packed out. There was a line to get in there. If you were meeting Tony Storm, Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, the Hardy Boys, Sting, Ronda Rousey, they had a line of people, a line of wrestling fans that really wanted to get a picture or an autograph with that person. And I think that WrestleCon really lucked out. WrestleCon has come out and basically said that they signed a deal in New Orleans to host WrestleCon next year. No word has really come out if they're going to be let out of their deal. I know that when I was looking to book the Drury, the hotel that we stayed in for WrestleMania 30, I got a warning basically saying that my credit card was going to be charged for the hotel rooms, and the hotel rates were 100% non-refundable. I went on the WrestleMania Plans Reddit page, posted my story last night, and basically asked if anybody was having any trouble getting their rooms refunded, and a lot of outrage, honestly, on the story. It honestly got pretty hot pretty fast, but I have not heard any buzz of people actually saying that New Orleans was actually going to hold them to the room rates, where basically people were going to have to go to New Orleans and watch WrestleMania in their hotel room because they're being forced to have a New Orleans vacation next year. But now as the story even progresses, it seems Las Vegas might be hosting multiple WrestleManias. It seems like they want to hold some sort of a residency. I know that a big story that I was hearing the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, as I was doing a lot of like information seeking on where to go and what to see. It seems that a lot of hotels just aren't being booked up because of the recession here in the United States. A lot of people aren't traveling. They're staying closer to home. They're not doing, Disneyland, Disney World, Las Vegas vacations because there's just not the money to go around. I hear the price of gasoline is going down here in California. I can tell you that we're at like $4.50 a gallon. We've gone down the fours, we've gone up the fours, we've never hit the threes, we've never hit the fives, but it doesn't seem like in California, where there's very high taxes, the gas is going down. I work at a grocery store. I work in a meat department. I know prices are high. I've seen, the price of eggs drop a little bit, but not substantially. Overall, wall to wall in the grocery store, prices went up in like 2023, and I have not seen them come down. I don't know why all of a sudden now we're talking about the prices of the groceries, but prices are high. That's just the way it is, and people are trying to find a way to make ends, and they're having to cut things, and family vacations seem to be one of the things that they're going to be cutting. So there's, they're laying off people who work the tables. They're laying off the people the clean up the hotels. A lot of people are getting laid off in Las Vegas, being cut down to part-time. Definitely having 1 week of the year where the place is going to be packed out. Doesn't matter if you're staying at the Westgate, the Fountain Blue, Resorts World. There's places all the way up and down the strip for you to stay. I'll tell you this much. I don't think people will want to go to Las Vegas year after year after year for WrestleMania. Can it be a two-trick pony, a back-to-back like Atlantic City was for WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5? Will it work like WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 34 for New Orleans? Yes. Honestly, yes. I think it will. I think they will be able to, fill up the Raider Stadium, Allegiant Stadium. I think they'll be able to pack out T-Mobile for NXT, for Monday Night Raw, and whatever else they need to run there. I think that honestly, they need to run less events that they did last year, or plan them out more in the future so people know what tickets they're buying and how to plan their week out. It honestly seemed like a lot of things like the WrestleMania parties, the roast of WrestleMania. It seemed like a lot of things were being planned and tickets being sold like 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. And then they were kind of like, oh, why aren't people wanting to come? Because they've already bought tickets to GCW. They've already bought tickets to this. They've already bought tickets to that. And those things are going down. When they're planning on WrestleMania 43, WrestleMania 44 in Las Vegas, that's where I wonder if people are going to want to go. There's always going to be a new crop of wrestling fans that want to attend WrestleMania. They want to go to their first one. They're going to do whatever they want to. There's, people come up to me. They tell me, I watched your videos at WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta when I was a 9-year-old kid, and I dreamed about going to WrestleMania. That's why I went to my first WrestleMania, because I saw it on TV and was like, that's something that is achievable, and I want to achieve that goal. I want to go and I want to do that. I want to see Access. I want to see WrestleMania. I want to go to the Hall of Fame. I want to do those things. And I think it's so cool when people tell me that they're going to do that. Now, the people that go year after year after year, who aren't these like super VIP, I got to sit in the front row and buy the VIP experience with On Location. The people like me, I'm not going to want to go to Vegas for a third year in a row, a fourth year in a row. Part of the charm of WrestleMania, being in a different city, is going to a different city and being able to tell somebody that where did you go on your vacation? I went to Atlanta. I went to Miami. I went to Phoenix. I went to New Orleans. I didn't really get to brag about going to Santa Clara. I went to Dallas. That's part of the whole appeal of going there, to be able to go to the Chris Benoit house, to go to where Triple H and Stephanie got married. You find something in every city. In Dallas, we went to the Von Erich's graveyard. We went to where the Sportatorium was. You find something that is like unique, or something that you wanted to go to. I know that when I ran into Ollie, I apologize. He went and saw a magician, I want to think on Thursday or Friday nights, and I can't remember his name. I think it was Chris Angel. And if it wasn't him, I apologize. But, you found things in Las Vegas that you were able to see. So Vegas residency, I don't know for WrestleMania. Honestly, it sounds sketchy, down the road, if they'll be able to go there. There's a Jason Aldean song about Las Vegas being a 2-night town. And I went there and I stayed for 6 nights, I want to say. And there were points of being in Las Vegas. I wasn't like, it wasn't the girls, it wasn't the gambling, it wasn't the liquor or anything like that was getting me. It was just being in so many locations where they tried to block out, what time of day it is. You go into certain casinos and they have it built up that it's like artificial sunlight. They have an artificial sky. They want you to think that it's daytime and nighttime. They don't want you to be able to see outside. There's no clocks. Those things are the things that kind of get weird. And then when you're in almost all of the casinos. There's that smoke intoxication that you just breathe in, and when you're not used to it, that slows you and slugs you down. If one of those casinos out there would be able to make, non-smoking atmosphere, I wonder if they would be able to bring in more business by being able to advertise being like that. But so this story is not done. It is not guaranteed. Saudi Arabia, London, Santa Clara are all sites that I've heard about. Brian Alvarez talked about going to Mexico because of the CML war in Mexico, of WWE now being in and trying to be the number one, company in Mexico. We'll have to see how that works out. But as of right now, the story I'm seeing is Las Vegas, WrestleMania 42, WrestleMania 43, WrestleMania 44, WrestleMania